In March 1932, Pu Yi leaves Lushun and journeys to Manchukuo's new capital, Changchun. The 2 million square kilometers of land and 3 million people of Manchuria are inconsequential to him compared to the title of emperor. He's bitterly disappointed, but at least it's a start. The welcome he receives at Changchun goes some way to restoring his flagging morale. Behind the scenes, the Japanese have ensured a good turnout. Pu Yi's investiture is held at a government office. Though it's a far cry from the splendor of the Forbidden City, the grandiose ceremony makes Pu Yi more comfortable with his decision to side with the Japanese. After Pu Yi takes office as head of state of Manchukuo, he converts this Russian-style building into his imperial palace and legislative office. According to the Manchukuo constitution, as head of state he's executive ruler. In theory, he can exercise legislative, administrative, and jurisdictional authority, appoint government officials, and command the army, navy, and air forces. But Pu Yi quickly discovers that real power rests with the Hall of General Affairs, which is directly controlled and staffed by the Japanese army. Pu Yi, the head of state, is just a figurehead. 24 years later, Pu Yi testifies at a special court-martial.
在伪满的那个时候，根本上是没有这个实权。那么统治和支配这个伪满的实权的是谁呢？就是这个伪总务长官伍不溜和他的辅佐者伪总务厅司长谷海东的手里。所以这么看起来呢，这就形成了一个日本帝国主义代人的总务长官伍不溜藏对伪满政权由中央到地方一个整个的一个操纵支配吧。
Soon after the establishment of Manchukuo, the Japanese government implements a huge migration scheme. According to the plan, Japan will ship 1 million households to Manchuria over a period of 20 years. It declares, to massively migrate to Manchuria is in line with the needs of the political development of the Japanese Empire. It is part of the state-run enterprise to fully make use of the land in Manchuria. What is not mentioned is the hundreds of thousands of Manchurians who are to be displaced by the new arrivals. Despite continuing Japanese encroachment on Chinese territory, Chiang Kai-shek and his Kuomintang government are distracted by their obsession to defeat the growing power of a new threat that has been gaining in strength since 1921. The Chinese Communist Party, under the leadership of Mao Zedong. In 1931, the Kuomintang sign a ceasefire agreement with the Japanese army and declare several provinces non-military zones. The following year, the League of Nations Committee arrives in Manchuria and meets with Pu Yi and the Japanese at Changchun. Later, British representative Lord Lytton announces their findings.
The Japanese occupation of this large part of China was not justified on the ground of self-defense, and that the new state which had been set up was a Japanese protectorate rather than a genuine case of Manchurian self-determination.
The League proposes an international intervention plan for Manchuria. Japan's ambassador addresses the delegates to voice his government's vehement opposition.
It is a matter of common knowledge that Japan's policy is fundamentally inspired by a genuine desire to guarantee peace in the Far East and to contribute to the maintenance of peace throughout the world. Japan, however, finds it impossible to accept the report adopted by the Assembly.
The Japanese delegation storms out and gives notice of its country's withdrawal from the League of Nations. Qing supporters seize the moment to mount a campaign for restoration of the monarchy.
I dreamed my emperor dreams again. I was very concerned about news from various fronts. I put my hopes in the Japanese army, even though they were massacring my Chinese people. When they occupied a large area, I threw a big banquet for them. I congratulated all the soldiers who took part in the battles. I wished them continuing good luck on greater endeavors. Later, a troop of Japanese soldiers were only 100 miles from Beijing, but did not advance further, which was a big disappointment for me.
To bolster the legitimacy of their actions in China, the Japanese now decide to upgrade Pu Yi's international profile. In October 1933, they inform him that the Japanese government will now recognize him as emperor. Pu Yi is elated. The day that he has hoped for years has finally come. The first thing he thinks of is what he'll wear. Previous Emperor Guangxu's ceremonial robes have been kept, but the Japanese tell Pu Yi he's only Emperor of Manchukuo, so he can't wear the Qing robes. He must wear a military uniform they've designed. After a heated argument, they compromise. At dawn on the 1st of March 1934, Pu Yi celebrates his coronation in full Qing regalia. After the ritual, Pu Yi emerges wearing the uniform designated by the Japanese army. So finally, after a roller coaster ride of events and emotions, Pu Yi realizes his dream. For the third time in his life, he's an emperor. And he's only just turned 28. A new chapter is about to start in Pu Yi's extraordinary life. One that he hopes will see him restored as Emperor of all China. As it will turn out, however, he started down a path that will take him on a journey far stranger than he could ever imagine.